If you're ready to hear the whole story, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because tomorrow, I will be giving you another story just as crazy as this one. And you don't want to miss it. Now let's get into it. The dress cost $32. Maya had nearly put it back twice. It was simple, soft black fabric, a wrap neckline, just enough swing at the hem to feel like movement. She touched the tag again, thinking about the wedding, the people, the cameras. He'd said come as you are. She wasn't sure the world was ready for that. Her mother sliced mangoes at the sink. You don't have to go if you don't want to. Maya smiled. I want to. Just don't go pretending. I won't. She packed the dress carefully, not for them, but for herself. Julian adjusted his cufflinks, half listening to his assistant go over logistics for the wedding. Private jet, Lake George estate, guest list nearing 400. Your sister said you're allowed one guest. Should I tell her you'll come alone? He didn't answer right away. Actually, no. The assistant looked up. I'll bring Maya. She blinked. Maya, from the Community Fund Advisory Board? Julian didn't explain. He didn't owe the world context. He owed Maya honesty. And space. She had never tried to impress him, and that was what impressed him most. The estate was a spread of glass, white brick, and manicured excess. Maya stepped out of the car slowly, eyes catching the cascade of floral arches lining the entrance. She wasn't intimidated. But she was watching. The servers, the smiles, the subtle tilts of heads as guests turned to glimpse Julian's date. You don't have to hold my hand, she murmured as they entered. I want to, he replied simply. They walked in side by side. She wore the black dress. No heels. No borrowed diamonds. Still, she held her own. Laughter rang like bells. Crystal shimmered overhead. Julian's sister, Avery, crossed the room and threw her arms around him. You're late. You look expensive, Julian said with a smirk. And you look dangerous. Is this her? Maya stepped forward, extended her hand. Maya James. Avery blinked, just long enough. Then smiled. Welcome. But Maya saw it. The shift. The calculation. Logan Prescott. Clean haircut, white teeth, navy suit 2 shades too tight. He didn't look up until Avery waved him over. This is Julian's date. Logan glanced once at Maya, then past her. Oh, right. Great to meet you. Sorry, what was the name? Maya. He smiled, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. You're one of the vendors, or? Julian's jaw moved slightly. She's my guest. Ah, got it. Logan chuckled, already turning. Well, make yourself comfortable. Maya's hands were still at her sides. She didn't flinch. But Julian noticed. You okay? Julian asked quietly. Maya leaned on the railing. I expected it. That doesn't make it less rude. He's a... Don't say it. Then what should I say? She looked at him, not angry, just clear. Nothing. Not yet. He nodded. Not in surrender, in respect. As waitstaff lit candles and music spilled into the halls, Maya passed the groom again. He was laughing with guests, his arm around Avery's waist. He didn't look at her. Didn't see her. But that would change. Not because she'd shout. Because silence doesn't mean absence. Have you ever been in a room where someone pretended not to see you, and you knew you belonged anyway? Drop your story in the comments. Maya's not alone. Maya moved quietly among the chaos. Hairstylists buzzed. Florists flew. The bride rehearsed her walk on a strip of gold aisle runner. No one asked who Maya was. They assumed. She didn't offer corrections. Instead, she helped an elderly aunt reach her seat. Repositioned a crooked photo on the welcome table. Smoothed down a child's unruly collar. She didn't wear importance like others wore satin. She simply was. He liked how she moved. No pretense. No effort to be accepted, and yet, everything she did added value. And still, she was invisible to most. It boiled beneath his skin. But he said nothing. Yet. The music swelled. Laughter bounced off glass chandeliers. Rows of champagne flutes lined the perimeter of the dance floor. Maya stayed close to the wall, eyes tracing the carved ceiling. She didn't belong to the noise. She didn't need to. But she was present. And that for some was too much. Logan adjusted his bow tie, glass in hand. Family and friends, thank you all for being here. You've made today unforgettable. Light applause. Special shout out to my stunning bride, who looks like she walked off the cover of a bridal magazine, and to my new brother-in-law, Julian. Another clap. Julian always finds the most interesting dates. Eyes turned. Maya straightened slightly. I mean, last wedding it was a celebrity chef. This time, well, he chuckled, a woman of mystery. Laughter, tight, awkward. But I've got to say, Julian, you've got a type. Always keeping us guessing. Maya didn't move. Julian's glass didn't rise. Maya stared at her untouched drink. Julian's hand closed gently over her wrist. Not possessive. Protective. I'll handle it, he said low. She met his eyes. Calm. Not crushed. Don't. It's his wedding. He made you the punchline. Then he's the one who should feel embarrassed. Julian pulled Logan aside. The music kept playing. No one noticed. Don't ever speak to her like that again. Logan scoffed. Relax. It was a joke. She's not a prop. Not a phase. She's Maya. Okay, and... Julian stepped closer. And I brought her because she's the one person here who doesn't care about last names, trust funds, or guest lists. Logan raised a brow. So this is serious. She's the only part of today that is. Silence. For the first time, Logan didn't have a comeback. Maya walked alone, arms folded against the evening chill. A young girl approached, wide-eyed. You look like a princess. Maya smiled. I don't have a crown. You don't need one, the girl whispered. You're the nicest person here. Maya knelt. What's your name? Arya. Well, Arya, thank you. That means more than you know. The girl leaned in. Are you gonna marry the prince? Maya laughed. He's not a prince. But maybe. She stepped back into the ballroom, light catching the soft folds of her black dress. Julian looked up. She nodded once. He offered his hand again, no speech, no rescue. Just presence. She took it. Not because she needed to, but because she wanted to. Have you ever been publicly embarrassed, and stayed calm anyway? What gave you strength in that moment? Let us know in the comments. Maya's grace deserves company. The estate was quieter now. The band was gone, chairs stacked. Glitter lingered in the grass like leftover stardust. Maya stood at the edge of the dock, arms wrapped around herself, shoes off. The lake mirrored the sky in gray stillness. Julian watched from the kitchen window. He made coffee. Poured 1 cup. Then 2. And paused. Maya folded the black dress gently and placed it in her bag. No one had told her to leave, but the air around her had shifted. No longer hostile. Just expectant. Like she'd stayed long enough for it to be polite, but not long enough to be accepted. Can I come in? She nodded, without turning. You left without saying goodbye. It didn't feel like a goodbye kind of morning. He held out the second mug. She took it, but her fingers barely brushed his. That was new. He noticed. You're pulling back, he said, more observation than accusation. I don't know what this is, she replied. What if it doesn't need a name yet? That only works if the world's not watching. Silence. You brought me to a place I didn't ask to be part of. Then left me standing there when it turned. I was trying not to make it worse. You didn't make it worse, she said. You just didn't make it matter. Julian stood in the hallway outside his sister's dressing room. Avery stepped out in a robe, face half done, rollers in her hair. That girl. Maya. She's sweet. He didn't answer. But she's not you. Good, he said. I don't want someone like me. You know what I mean. He met her eyes. I don't think you do. Are you all right? Her mother asked. I'm okay. Did you say what you needed to? No. Then why are you back? She didn't answer. Because part of her wasn't. Not yet. Julian leaned against the car, keys in hand, coat over his shoulder. He looked tired in a way Maya hadn't seen before, like someone who could afford everything except clarity. You leaving too? She asked. I came with you. I should leave with you. She hesitated, then nodded. Okay. But they didn't talk on the ride back. Not because there was nothing to say. Because too much had built between silences. He dropped her off at the curb. No kiss. No promise. Just headlights waiting. She reached for the door. Maya. She turned. I didn't bring you there to test you. I know. I brought you because you already knew who you were. And I still don't. A beat. She nodded once. Then stepped out. They're apart now. Not broken, just distant. Each processing in silence what they don't yet know how to hold. The room was beige and too bright. Maya adjusted her name tag, Maya James, outreach coordinator. She hadn't expected Julian here. But there he was, on the panel. Front row, 3 seats from the mayor. Dark suit. Unreadable face. Their eyes met once. He blinked. She didn't. Julian checked his phone. No messages. No excuse to step away. The assistant tapped his shoulder. Your community board rep is here. From the James Grant Initiative. He froze. Maya. Yep. She'll be co-presenting during the Q&A. Of course she would. She spoke first. Clear, composed. No notes. Real outreach doesn't start with money. It starts with listening. The audience leaned in. She owned the moment without raising her voice. Julian watched her from the edge of his seat. She hadn't disappeared after the wedding. She'd stepped back into her world, and kept building it. Without him. They ended up in the same space. Coffee. Silence. Nowhere to hide. I didn't know you'd be here, she said first. Me neither, he admitted. A pause. You spoke well. I always do. You just never heard me before. Oof. He nodded slowly. That's fair. I'm not looking to be impressive, Julian. I'm looking to be included. There's a difference. I know that now. Another pause. He looked down. I've been thinking about you. You've been thinking about fixing it, she corrected. Not about me. Silence. Then, a knock. They need you both for photos. They stood shoulder to shoulder. Cameras flashed. Reporters called names. Maya kept her smile steady. Julian glanced at her once. She didn't meet his gaze. But she didn't move away either. Doors closed. Just the two of them. He pressed the ground floor. You ever think about what we could be, if the world wasn't watching? She looked straight ahead. That's the problem. The world is watching. And I'm not here to perform. I never asked you to. No. But you let them assume. Ding. The doors opened. She stepped out. Maya. She turned halfway. I miss you, he said. Quietly. Like something he hadn't said aloud before. She hesitated. Then stopped trying to explain me. And start showing up for me. She walked toward the train station. He didn't follow. But for the first time, he didn't walk away either. They're not ready to reconnect. But something cracked open. A seed was planted in silence. The kind that grows when no one's looking. The windows rattled from passing trains. Maya sat on the floor, unpacking a box she hadn't touched since moving in. At the bottom, a folder labeled Gospel House Shelter, 2011. Inside, her volunteer ID. A yellowed article. And a letter. From Julian. She'd almost forgotten. She was 17. The shelter needed weekend help. She showed up, twice a month, every month. No college degree. No money. Just presence. Julian, years younger, angrier, barely recognizable, ran that food line like he hated everyone in it. Why do you keep coming back? He asked once. Because I needed someone to show up for me. And no one did. So you do it for other people? No. I do it for me. So I don't forget. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She let it ring. Then curiosity got her. Voicemail. One sentence. I just found something you wrote, and I finally read it. Julian. The article she wrote had been buried under a drawer of donor reports. Title: When Kindness Isn't Glamorous. She'd written it at 20. About shelters, dignity, and how being seen mattered more than being saved. Julian didn't remember reading it back then. Now? It felt like it had been written for him. They sat in the corner. Not as a couple. Not yet. Just two people with history and too much unsaid. You wrote that at 20, he asked. I wrote it because people needed to understand we weren't broken. Just overlooked. He nodded slowly. I remember you. From the shelter. She smiled. Took you long enough. I was lost back then. You still are. I know. You think I'm afraid of wealth. But I'm afraid of becoming invisible in rooms built to impress each other. He looked down. I never wanted to be part of those rooms. Then stop living in them. A long breath. What do you need from me, Maya? She didn't answer right away. Then. Consistency. Not rescue. Not guilt. Just show up. Keep showing up. They stood beneath an overhang as rain whispered down. No grand promises. Just an understanding. Julian reached for her hand. She let him. Not tightly. But she didn't pull away either. They've remembered who they were, and who they might still be, if they keep choosing each other with intention. Maya bit into a peach, juice slipping down her wrist. Julian handed her a napkin before she asked. They walked between stalls. No cameras. No suits. Just sunlight, fresh bread, and easy silence. I forgot what normal felt like, he said, mostly to himself. This isn't normal, she smiled. This is good. He nodded, watching a kid chase bubbles between crates of apples. You think we'll always need to step out of our lives to feel like this? No, she said. I think the life we want is one we'll have to build. On purpose. They cooked together. He sliced too thick. She stirred too slowly. You're bad at this, she teased. I'm rich. I don't have to be good at soup. She laughed, really laughed, and it startled them both. There it is, he whispered. What? You. When you're not holding everything back. That's not fair, she said softly. I know. I'm sorry. A quiet pause. Then. But I like this. All of this. Even the soup. Especially the soup. Maya sat cross-legged on his rug, flipping through vinyl. Wait. You have Marvin Gaye and Bon Iver. Don't judge me. I contain multitudes. She grinned, choosing Let's Get It On. You sure you want to play this? If you're gonna leave, at least leave to a classic. She placed the needle gently. The room filled with warmth. He crossed the space slowly, sitting beside her. Their knees brushed. Not by accident. Not by force. Do you feel safe with me? He asked. She didn't answer right away. That depends, she said. Are you still trying to prove something? No, he whispered. I'm trying to stop pretending I don't care as much as I do. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Not for comfort. But because she wanted to. I used to think I had to choose, she murmured. Between love and self-respect. And now. I think the right person doesn't make you choose. He didn't say anything back. He just reached for her hand, and held it like a quiet answer. The bond is fragile but real now. There's peace, warmth, a flicker of possibility. But that's what makes what's coming next hurt more. Julian adjusted his tie in the elevator's mirrored wall. Maya stood beside him, elegant in a deep green dress. She looked calm, but her fingers pressed the clutch in her hand a little too tightly. You okay? He asked. I'm just remembering the last time I was surrounded by people who pretend not to see me. He didn't laugh. He didn't disagree. The elevator doors opened. The event was for urban development, Julian's initiative. His face was on the brochure. Maya recognized the look in people's eyes. Curiosity, calculation, something sharp wrapped in compliments. Lovely dress. You're with Julian, right? So what do you do again? Julian tried to stay near, but people pulled him in every direction. Backslaps, handshakes, nods. Maya sipped sparkling water and smiled politely. And slowly, felt herself disappearing. She's charming, a woman murmured. But let's be honest, we all know this won't last. It's a phase, someone chuckled. Every man has one. He'll marry someone who actually fits the life. The clink of glasses covered the cruelty. Maya didn't confront them. She just stepped outside. Where's Maya? He asked his assistant. She said she was getting air. He found her near the valet circle, arms crossed, eyes distant. What happened? Nothing, she said quickly. Just needed space. Don't do that. Do what? Shut down and pretend. Isn't that what tonight is? The words stung. You think I brought you here to show you off? No. I think you brought me here hoping I'd disappear quietly. Silence. Heavy. Say it, Julian. You want someone they'll applaud. That's not true. Then why don't you ever defend me out loud? You only protect me in private. But in public, you play along. I didn't know what they said. You didn't want to know. Her voice didn't rise. But her eyes, full of quiet ache, said everything. He stepped forward. She stepped back. I can't keep standing next to someone who won't stand with me. He didn't call. She didn't check her phone. They sat in different burrows, surrounded by silence. Not because they didn't care, but because neither knew how to bridge the gap between love and fear. This is their breaking moment. No villain. Just wounds. Missteps. A love that needs more than good intentions. The sun leaked through the blinds in narrow stripes. Maya sat at her kitchen table, untouched coffee cooling beside her. Her phone vibrated. Julian. She didn't answer. Instead, she opened her journal, a habit she dropped when things started to feel steady. She flipped to a blank page and wrote. It's not that he didn't care. It's that he cared quietly, and the world was loud. He replayed the moment in the valet circle a dozen times. Every sentence. Every silence. He had protected her in private. He knew that. But love, real love, doesn't hide in the shadows. He reached for his phone again. Then paused. Instead, he wrote an email. Subject line, if you read this, no fancy sign-off. No overthinking. Just. You never asked me to fight the world. You just needed me to walk beside you through it. And I didn't. I'm sorry. If you decide to step away, I'll understand. But if you ever want someone to choose you loudly, completely, every single time, I'm here. Not to fix you. Not to prove anything. Just to love you better. He stared at the screen. And hit send. Twice. Then once more. Not for clarity, but for tone. The kind you can't fake. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She just sat with it. Maya was scheduled to speak. Outreach training for youth volunteers. Her notes were ready, but her mind wandered. Someone asked during Q&A, "What's the hardest part about showing up for people?" She paused. Then, believing they'll still be there when you need them to show up for you. She didn't say his name. She didn't need to. Hood up. Quiet. Alone. He didn't approach her after. He just left a folded note with the coordinator. Maya found it in her bag hours later. If today was the last time I saw you, I'd still be proud of the woman you've always been. But I hope it's not. I hope you'll let me try again, publicly, loudly, fully. Rain again. Just like that wedding night. Julian stood on the platform, no umbrella. Maya stepped off the train, spotted him instantly. She could have walked past. Instead, she stopped 2 steps away. You meant it. All of it. A beat. And if I need time, then I'll wait. Not quietly, but with patience. And if I don't? He smiled. Then I'll still wait. But I'll be hoping. She looked down. Then up. Okay. That was all. But it was enough. They haven't fully reunited yet, but the door's open. Not rushed. Not forced. Chosen. Julian stood outside Maya's building, hands in pockets, watching his breath fog in the early chill. No flowers. No speech rehearsed. Just presence. He rang the buzzer. No answer. He waited. Then, footsteps. She opened the door halfway, cardigan wrapped tight. You're early. I figured if I was late, I'd miss the chance. She stepped aside. Let him in. He took in the little changes, a framed photo on the fridge, her latest article pinned beside it. Still writing? He asked. Always. He nodded. Still pretending soup is your specialty, she added, faint smile. Upgraded to toast. She laughed. It was soft, but it reached her eyes. No timeline. No pressure. Just conversation about her work, his new initiative, the youth center they were both quietly funding now, separately, until now. You really want to do this together? She asked. Only if together means all of it. Not just the cause. You and me. She stared into her mug. I don't want to be rescued. Then let's walk beside each other. Nothing more. Nothing less. A pause. Then. Okay. Community gardens, music, youth performances. Julian wasn't just in the crowd, he was working it. Rolling up sleeves, carrying equipment, laughing with volunteers. Maya watched him from a distance. Someone tapped her shoulder. He's different when he's here, a local teen said. No, she replied. He's just more himself. Maya stepped up to speak. Crowd quieted. Some of you know me. Some don't. But all of you matter to me. She glanced at Julian briefly. It took me a long time to realize that love, real love, doesn't ask you to shrink. It stretches to meet you. Her voice didn't tremble. Her hands didn't shake. She was exactly where she was supposed to be. Julian leaned on the railing, waiting. She approached slowly. That was beautiful, he said. It was real. And us. We're still becoming. He reached for her hand. She let him. Fingers laced. No need for vows, or promises carved in stone. Just a quiet agreement. We're choosing each other. Again. And again. And again. They sat watching kids play. An older couple walked by, hand in hand. Maya glanced over. Think we'll get there? Julian smiled. If I get to walk it with you, absolutely. She leaned into him. No music swelled. No camera panned. Just two people, loving without apology, and building something strong enough to last. Have you ever held back love because the world made you question if you were enough? Drop a heart in the comments if this story reminded you that love should never be quiet, and tell us what you think love should look like when it's real. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.